Hello, ladies and gents. Thank you for joining our ICT webinar today. My name is Amal Biteri, and I will be the moderator in this webinar. We have a lovely lineup of speakers and panelists. We'll be covering our agenda today. We'll start first with Ms. Shahid Attar, the welcoming and opening keynote, and Ms. Shahid Attar is the ICT Managing Director in the Ministry of Investment. And then we will have the UNTAPPED technology market in Saudi with Mr. Faisal Saleh, the Technology and Platform Segment Director, Ministry of Investment. And then we'll have an overview of MCIT with Ms. Nadal Husseini, the Technology Investment Program Manager, and Mr. Abdul Dairi, the Director of Communication at the Infrastructure Deputyship. And then we'll have the Saudi Data and Artificial Intelligence Authority, SADAYA, and it's going to be the National Data and AI Strategy Overview. And he's the consultant, Dr. Hashim Al-Aid. And then at the end, we'll have a session of 10 minutes to answer all your questions. So, Mr. Shahid, Mrs. Shahid, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Amar, and welcome everyone. It's really a pleasure to be with you today. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, partners, and everyone who joined us, digitization is central to Saudi Arabia's economic and social transformation. I think that it is not even a question that ICT is one of the top and most important enablers for Vision 2030 in Saudi Arabia. And what's important also to notice that the market value here is set to grow up to $36 billion in 2022. It is connected to every aspect of national growth, and it is set to boost our infrastructure and industrial development and stimulate employment, creating a huge range of investment opportunities. But to achieve this objective, we're going to need long, lasting, and strong digital infrastructure that meets our needs all across areas of business, government, and society. In the past few years, we've embarked on a lot of different pro-business reforms in Saudi Arabia to create an attractive and competitive business landscape where private investors can thrive and where ICT sector is really, again, one of our top priorities. I'd like to share with you a few of our top achievements and milestones that we've hit here in Saudi Arabia. First of all, 57% of our 400 plus economic reforms that we've identified have been implemented, which include a huge range of tech-led initiatives to boost the ICT sector. For example, the Ministry of Investment's entrepreneurship license and instant visa are just two of these reforms. They are designed to make it easier for Saudis and foreign investors with innovative ideas to get to the market quicker, hire the talent they need to start making an impact. We really become a natural environment for thriving digital entrepreneurs. We're happy to see that investors are already showing confidence in these long-term prospects for our ICT market. In Q1 of 2020, the highest number of new foreign investment projects, with 46 new projects set up, almost 50% more than in the same period in 2019. Saudi Arabia is really showing commitment to emerging ICT solutions. We are one of the early adopters of 5G technology, with a lot of efforts to increase cross-country access to reliable internet and data connections. We even set up a national task force for its implementation back in 2018. Also, international investors have begun taking advantage of the emerging opportunities that it's creating. Domestic Saudi telcos like STC and Zain have signed deals with Ericsson, Huawei, respectively, to roll out 5G networks across the country. These are just a few of our accomplishments, and we're hope to achieve more. But as we all know, we just are going through a difficult time. The ongoing COVID-19 pandemic was a tough time for everyone, for businesses and for families. But it has also, on the other side, accelerated digital adoption in the country. As government entities, private sectors across the kingdom went online to ensure as much continuity as possible, despite the changing environment. Digital solutions have been our lifeline. What we've seen during the pandemic is that Saudi companies and consumers alike are turning to technologies in nearly every aspect of their daily lives. We have measured an increase of data consumption of up to 37% just in April. In addition, when it comes to the e-commerce side, when companies rely on virtual platforms to serve customers who are unable to go to malls, supermarkets, to shops in Saudi Arabia, we've seen almost $400 million worth of online sales made in March 2020 alone. That's a massive 400% increase of year-on-year growth when it comes to the number of online payments in Q1 of 2020. Incredible numbers. As we reopen and ramp up the economic activity, it is clear that technology is creating almost endless investment opportunities in the kingdom that will help us meet our consumer and community needs, private sector demands across a myriad of industries. And most importantly, we're looking for your expertise to help us make this happen. Please join us today with all the different speakers, with our colleagues from the different ministries and entities. We're all working hand in hand to make sure that we create an environment that is open for investment, that is open for business. Reach out to me, to the ICT team, to the Ministry of Communications Technologies, or Sadaya. We'll be more than happy to share about our emerging investment opportunities in the kingdom and the exciting, dynamic ICT sector, and support you in the crucial first steps in the Saudi market. We hope to welcome you to Saudi Arabia in the near future. Thank you, Omar, and back to you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Shahad, for your comments. And now we'll move to the UNTAPPED technology in the market with Mr. Faisal Saleh, the Segment Director of the ICT. Mr. Faisal, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Omar, and thank you, Shahad, for your introduction. Welcome, everyone. We're glad to have you today and looking forward for a fruitful discussion and for the valuable input that we will receive from our colleagues at the Ministry of Communication and Information Technology and the Saudi Data and AI Authority. So today we'll talk briefly about Saudi Arabia, introduce the Vision 2030 for those who are not familiar with it. Then we will dive into the ICT opportunities and ecosystem in the kingdom. And then we will conclude our presentation with how would you get into the market if you're a foreigner and what would you do if you're a local. So the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Omar, next slide, please. So we're a nation of 33.4 million people, and we're growing at 2.5%, and that's a very high number. The estimates that the population of the kingdom will reach 45 million people by 2030, and this is a very fast growth compared to the rest of the world. We have 5.7 of those in the workforce, and 85% of the entire population is young, which represents, as we will see later, a great opportunity for technology companies. Our national nominal GDP is north of 833 billion US dollars, putting us as a country among the G20 nations worldwide, the largest economies, and our ICT competitiveness has reached 24 in this past year, comparing to a much lower number the years before due to many governmental investments in the sector that our colleagues will deep dive into later on. So Saudi Arabia is the largest economy in the region, and we're growing at a very rapid pace. As of this year, we're the 19th among the world countries from economy point of view. We're the top 5 growing G20 country, and we are the 27th and 31st exporter and importer. That's all due to our heavy oil industry. Aramco, as many of you are aware, is driving the economy in Saudi Arabia, and the plan is to diversify that into more streams. The Vision 2030 basically was announced 4 years ago to look into the economy, to look into the social scene and political scene and revamp everything. We're building the vision on our three strengths, our unique location connecting three continents, Asia, Europe, and Africa. We are an investment powerhouse due to the demand on oil and us being the largest exporter. However, the kingdom has planned to leverage this high income in unlocking a new sector, improving the infrastructure, and investing heavily globally in technology and other business opportunities. Of course, we are the heart of the Arabic and Muslim world. We host Mecca and Al Medina, the target of north of 1 billion Muslims worldwide who always love to come to the kingdom and visit it, which creates a lot of economical opportunities. The vision came to diversify basically the economy and to change it from an oil-dependent economy to and government-driven economy to become a private sector-driven economy. In 2016, when the vision was announced, the kingdom announced 96 targets to reach by 2030. I selected few of those that are relevant to our audience today, but you can read the document yourself. You read the KPIs we put on ourselves in 5 years, in 10 years, and in 15 years. You can find all of that on the Vision website. Here are some examples of the objectives we are trying to achieve by 2030. We're aspiring to double the spending on entertainment and leisure from 3% to 6% only in 10 years. We want to have 3 cities in the kingdom among the top 100 cities worldwide from 0 city. Today, the visitors to Mecca and Al Medina is now at 8 million people annually, and we're trying to more than triple that into 30 million by 2030. That, of course, requires heavy investments in hospitality and infrastructure. All of that requires and unlocks many technology opportunities, as we will see later. Another interesting number that will be relevant to many of our attendees is women's participation in workforce. When the vision started, we were at 22% women employees, and the target is to reach 30%. I am confident now that the number is much higher than 22. I'm not sure what is the exact number, but it's definitely more than that. Now, to the economical goals we set to ourselves, here are a few examples. One very relevant to our audience today is the number of the participation of the foreign direct investment into the GDP. We're now at 3.8%, and we're aiming to increase that to 5.7%. This 2% increase will require a lot of reforms, a lot of changes, and creation of opportunities for investors to come and put their investments into the kingdom and make it a win-win situation. Another metric that we're looking at is the medium enterprises contribution. It was at 20% when the vision was launched. Now it's at 35%. The number today, I believe, is more than 27. So we've managed to achieve a great deal of progress in that area, and that's something we look at very closely because the government puts a lot of effort into enabling that sector. A very important example to our audience here of how the government is enabling the SME is what the Authority of Local Content and Government Purchases has announced. Basically, what they said is every government deal has to favor the small and medium businesses to the point where larger enterprises prices of any deal will be 10% higher than the smaller and medium businesses. So that gives them an edge of 10% over others in pricing, and many other enablements that the government is putting to guarantee that we grow this very important metric, which creates a lot of opportunities for startups and smaller technology companies to grow and gain momentum. Of course, the main metric here is to diversify from oil. So our non-oil GDP participation should reach 50 by 2030. That's a very aggressive goal. However, to reach there, we are putting the real support and enablement. We're unlocking a new sector like tourism, which wasn't available in Saudi until recently. We're doubling down on logistics and other things that we will touch base on later on in the presentation. Of course, we wouldn't be able to attract investors, whether that's local investors or foreigners, without having an easy environment, a smooth journey for investors. And that's a huge area of our work here at the Ministry of Investment, is to hear back from you investors, what is blocking you, what are the problems that you are facing in your day-to-day life, in your licensing, in your even analysis to the market before jumping into an opportunity. So we will join you from the ideation. We will reach out to you in events or via your email. We want you to know about the market. We want to put the idea there and to discuss it with you and to build the case with you and to have you invest where our real impact will happen. After you invest in the kingdom, we'll be with you hand in hand to enlarge your investment, to make sure you have a smooth and successful journey. And in that metric in particular, we have improved significantly last year. However, we're at a lower point of where we started, and that's something is noted by the leadership, and we're working heavily to double down on the reforms and the processes to help have a better journey. Next, please. So the the Vision 2030, and I urge you all to read it online. It's an easy read, a long one, 80 plus pages, but it would put things into perspective for any investor who are interested, or for those who are willing to just explore what's happening in the kingdom. It basically shows you what we have, where are we heading, what is our plan, what are our strengths, and how can we reach our goals in a faster manner. But it's not executional. There is no details in that document. If you go to the website, you will realize that we announced 13 vision realization programs, BRPs. Those are the execution plans for many areas. Most of those programs have been announced in details. You will find a detailed document explaining the roadmap, the KPIs, the targets, you name it. All the details are there, and it's a good read for people who are trying to expand their business to know where are we heading, because one thing that the government decided to do when the vision was announced is to become fully transparent, announce everything, check everything, review everything. If it's not working, change it. We've been doing a lot of revamping to our plans, not to stuck within what we announced earlier. Those programs, of course, are not technology related. They don't have the word digital in any of them. However, if you read through them, you will realize that the belief by the government that we would not be able to achieve any of our ambitious targets without technology. So that unlocks a great deal of opportunities in the sector. Now, to the ICT sector in particular, why is Saudi an attractive market? Why should you consider the kingdom? The spending is just huge. We have here a total number of spending of 45 billion US dollars. That number, of course, is not only on the enterprise spending, it's across the private sector, public sector, and the consumer spending on electronics and anything related to technology, whether that's digital platform, e-commerce, and what have you. That's a huge market comparing to areas close to us. However, we see huge growth in every aspect, whether that's in government spending, in enterprise spending on technology, which is part of the worldwide trend, and also on consumer spending due to the young, deep-pocketed, let's say, consumers we have in Saudi Arabia. The buying power is just strong here, and the testimonial we see always from any retail or business is just increasing the confidence in the market. The e-commerce numbers are big, 7.6, putting us at the 10th fastest growing market. Also in gaming, we are among the highest worldwide. The mobile internet speed reached 66, and our colleagues in MCIT will show in details what we did out there, because the government focused on that area to enable the sector to thrive and move faster. The internet penetration is among the highest worldwide, and then we have a huge number in growing our consumption to cloud computing. So the market is huge, but our aspiration is much bigger. We realize that the potential is much bigger, and our aim here and the vision is to become the hub for ICT for the region, the Gulf, Middle East, and even beyond. To do that, we focus on 6 main areas. First of all, the digital infrastructure, as I briefly talked, enhance the regulation, which I will briefly talk about later. We want to build the ecosystem around you, investors. We want to hear from you what's blocking you, what are the problems you're facing, and how can we help you have a more successful journey. Then we have we are creating industries that are around smart and digital solutions. We want to have smart cities industries, Industry 4.0, all the new tech. We're trying to localize it and create opportunities for niche players worldwide to come to the kingdom and find a successful environment. We're focusing also on digital content. Numbers are not satisfying to any Arabic-speaking person. 4% of the internet users are Arabs, however, only 0.8% of the content is Arabic. So there is a huge room there. We're working hand in hand with digital content creators to enable them to come and invest in local content. Last but not least, you cannot move without talent. We have big focus on creating bigger pool of talented developers, talented IT personnel and employees, and that's an area where MCIT will also talk in more details. And our colleagues, of course, in Sadaya, they are focusing on that heavily, and I believe Dr. Hisham will brief us about their efforts there. So some examples of how we are becoming investor-centric. We are focusing on you and what makes you move faster. The regulations we announced, and those are just examples. The cloud first policy, which is now in public consultation, a practice we always do to get your feedback. Please, if you have any, feel free to share it. The IoT regulations was announced. We saw huge interest. CIPC announced that in details. Also on their website, e-commerce regulation due to the fast growth there. The government has put a separate regulation for e-commerce players, and you name it, of regulations across sectors that are being reformed or introduced for the first time to improve the regulatory environment. In digital infrastructure, I'll leave that part to my colleagues. Amazing job has been done there, and the huge investments from the government. Digital workforce, as you can see, we've introduced many things to improve the Saudi and non-Saudis who are living in Saudi's capability. We have a lot of focus on universities, schools, but we're also creating solutions to educate and train workforce. We have a Saudi Digital Academy by the ministry. We have a focus from Sadaya and many other government entities, and I'll leave a room for them to go into details. We also have the Saudi Federation for Cybersecurity Programming and Drones, who are focusing on spreading the love of coding, spreading the capabilities in the digital era among the youth, which will create your next generation of IT professionals. The growth comes from many areas in the kingdom, but here I decided to highlight a few. I'll try to move faster due to the time. So the government transformation, we are as Saudis very proud of where we reached from government services. However, the government always wants more, and we are happy to see more. So there is huge spending on digitizing citizen services, expat services, you name it. If you live in Saudi, you know that we have probably one of the best, if not the best, government solutions worldwide, and numbers show that as well. However, there is a lot of room to improve, and we welcome new ideas to create a public-private sector partnership. Not only that, the government is digitizing the way it operates, the way it communicates with each other. So that's a huge room as well of opportunities to investors. As our citizens are young, are tech savvy, they spend a lot of time and money on technology. That creates a lot of opportunities for multinationals to come and tap into this market, but also for Saudis and non-Saudis to create their own startups and businesses addressing this young tech-savvy community. Our numbers are just among the highest in YouTube consumption worldwide, not only in the region. Instagram consumption per capita, Snapchat, also TikTok. We rank across one of the highest worldwide. So that's a huge opportunity. It shows the huge interest by the citizens. Tourism, as I said, is just an untapped, pure area in Saudi. Yes, we have Hajj and Umrah, and we've been doing that since our first days, and it's a historic and pride for us, and we're trying to improve that experience, as I will mention later. However, the tourism, the larger concept, as a larger concept, is just new to Saudi. It was announced that we are opening the country for the first time in 2019, actually Q3, late Q3. And I was hearing an interview yesterday, actually, with the vice president of the Ministry of Tourism, and she said that only in the last 4 months since we launched the visa, 400,000 people have used it. Of course, due to COVID, they had to slow down and unlock the country for many parts, but that shows the potential, and our aim is to reach 100 million visitors by 2030, and we're well in our way to achieve that. There is nothing there, so a lot of room for you guys to put your solutions and minds into fixing this ecosystem and make money along the way. Smart cities and giga project, we'll briefly talk about this on a separate slide. And then advanced technologies, the Ministry of Communication has put its focus on localizing emerging tech, AI, IoT, blockchain, machine learning, you name it. All of that is a big focus to us. We're putting whatever we can to help you thrive and localize your minds into the kingdom, or to serve the kingdom from wherever you are. We are an open nation that would like to have technology help us live better. Of course, Industry 4.0, where I'll briefly talk in later slides. So for smart cities, it's a big focus. There is a huge opportunity there, and we'd like to introduce you into more details about this. But briefly, we have opportunities all over in smart cities. Some of them are available now, some of them are futuristic, some of them are in the works. So there is just big room for you guys to come. Explore the opportunities. The pockets are as following. We have major cities. The MOMRA, the Ministry of Municipalities and Rural Affairs, is digitizing and improving the smartness of our major cities. As a matter of fact, as we mentioned earlier, we have 3 cities to be among the top cities worldwide, and that requires a lot of smartness. But also we have every city in every and every municipality planning to improve the livability and lifestyle of the people who are living there. And they are very open. They announce their opportunities on their portal called For Us. Go there, check it out. If you need any support, we're happy to help. If you have a solution, I assure you that if you're willing to put your offer together, you will see a great momentum there. We have also industrial cities, Mudun and SIDF. Mudun is managing those cities, 35 across the kingdom. All of those are connected to high-speed internet to enable you to have a great digital infrastructure to build your solution on, and that's unlocking just a lot of solutions there. Housing is, of course, one of the areas where we see huge growth. The government is spending heavily to improve our housing numbers, and we have a big gap that will create a lot of opportunity for real estate developers, for smart solution providers, and what have you, to have those houses smart from day one. Hajj and Umrah, of course, the program has identified 192 touch point with every visitor since he has the idea in his hometown, wherever that is, until he goes back, coming to Saudi, including that the visit to Saudi. Every touch point with that visitor has been identified, ranked, evaluated, and 88 of those were identified as below our average, and there is just huge room for creative people to come propose how can they improve the experience, and we're interested to hear that, or they are interested to hear that, and how can they improve the experience. Last but not least, probably a lot of you are familiar with our ambitious public investment fund, our Sovereign Wealth Fund. The PIF has announced their programs online. You can read it. They have 6 buckets of investment. They're investing everywhere. Some of it local to unlock industries, to create economies, and some of it is global for us to localize technology and to be part of the investment ecosystem worldwide. And we have SoftBank Vision Fund, where the kingdom has invested a big chunk of it to capture most of the new technologies. We have other projects that are a priority to us that we are trying to move in as fast as possible. Our relevant part here is the Giga project and many other projects. Giga projects, Neom, Red Sea, Giddiya. Every month we see more details from those guys. What are they doing? Where are they heading? But we know one thing for sure, that they will be smart from day zero. So in the ideation and strategy and planning phase, we've seen them meet a lot of investors worldwide to capture their imagination and to partner with them in creating the roadmap for a futuristic city in Neom, for a very advanced city in Red Sea, and very entertaining city in Giddiya. Red Sea will be mostly a touristic project. Giddiya is the entertainment, sports, and culture capital of the area. It's 40 minutes from Riyadh. Neom is just a big project that has cities within it, and it's just ambitious. Go to their website, read their plans. It's just a place for dreamers. Next. I believe I'm already passing my time. Briefly, Industry 4.0 is a trend worldwide. A lot of companies are investing to create their solutions and to improve their operations. The need in the kingdom is even more than that, because we already, as you can see, have a big ecosystem when it comes to manufacturing. But if you read NIDLIB, the National Industrial Development and Logistics Program, you can find it online. You will see that we have a bigger plan than what we have, much bigger, and we need technology to help us achieve that, to optimize our operations due to the increasing costs of fuel, increasing costs in Saudi for labor. A lot of companies are flocking to technology to help them offset some of the costs, and we see many successful cases. As a matter of fact, the next slide, the Saudi Industrial Development Fund is actually dedicating a fund for digitalization. It's called Tanafusiyya. Go and read their criteria online. They want to give loans to manufacturing companies to use technology to optimize their operations. Here are some numbers about what we've done in the infrastructure and the existing factories. 5,000, of course, is not the entire number. It's only what's in Mudun. The entire number is more than 7,000 factories. Mudun is the operational governmental entity for those industrial cities. You can read more about them online. They are welcoming any idea, any person who wants to work with them. They will be very open to collaborate. Now, those are the new city, the new on-call cities. Those are 4 entities that manage cities other than Mudun. So we have Mudun is the first one. We have the Economic City Authority, now has become Economic Cities Authority, Economic Cities and Special Economic Zones authorities. We're working to address the need for a special economic zones for different industries, where we had actually changed this focus of this entity to economic cities and special economic zones. We have the Royal Commission of Jubail and Yambur managing 2 or 3 cities, industrial cities across the kingdom. And we have the King Salman Energy Park in the Eastern Province, where we will focus on energy, clean energy, green energy, different kinds of energy, and the energy ecosystem. So last but not least, I'll conclude very fastly. As I said, it's a priority for us at the ministry to have a smooth journey for you investors. We're all in fixing the ecosystem. We created a committee including more than 40 governmental entities called Taysir, where we meet weekly at the highest levels, discuss any obstacle and take action immediately. They meet every week. Every week they meet to review the problems we have, how can we fix them, what is the progress, so we can have a smoother journey. So we've been moving very fast in the past 2 to 3 years, and we'll move even faster in the next few years. Our job here at MISA is to help you in the cross sectors in 2 parts. First of all, our 3 parts. We reach out to you through our marketing leadership. We would like to raise the awareness globally to show you what's happening in Saudi, to connect with you. We have the investment attraction and development, where we work across 9 sectors that are derived from the vision. This is where we focus on. This is where we want to enable you to invest in. However, we're open to any kind of investment. Of course, the ICT is one of the main ones here, but we have 9 other sectors. We have colleagues in different sectors who will be happy to answer your queries. Also, our marketing team has announced a list of webinars like this one across sectors over the next few months. Feel free to follow them on Twitter or LinkedIn and see their schedule as we move forward. Last but not least, beside marketing and attraction, we focused heavily on the environment, on the investment climate. We have a full deputyship focusing on listening to investors' pains and problems. Next slide, please. And the pains and problems, and to fix every single one of them for the entire industry, not exceptionally for a certain investor. However, we will be more than happy to see any specific case, and if it's sizable and adds value and important to you, like it's important to us, definitely we'll go above and beyond to enable this investment. And we have many successful cases. A lot of the reforms and projects that we've done came through investor suggestions. So we want this feedback. We're very eager to hear it and to help you explore more opportunities. In front of you are simple sample of the reforms, the many reforms. I believe Shahad said 400 we've done. I don't have the exact figure, but every other day we hear about a new unlocked sector or a new process that has been improved. Actually, the required documents to get SAGA license or MISA license were 17. Now it's only 2 documents if you want to apply, and you can do the entire process online. Basically, you need your financial statement and commercial registration from your hometown attested by the Saudi embassy, and then you can complete the rest of the process online, and you will get the license in a timely manner. Last but not least, we unlocked so many opportunities for investors across sectors. Many sectors were locked only to Saudis or required a Saudi partnership or stake in the company. Now I believe we have more than 99% of the activities allowed in the kingdom open for non-Saudis to come and fully own their operations and their investment. So 100% ownership is available to you guys. We would love to help you. If you want a Saudi partner, then definitely the market is full of them. We can help you reach out to those people. That will be it from my side. I'll be here after my colleagues for any questions you might have. We're always available if you reach out to us through our portal in Invest Saudi, through email, phone call, through our marketing team, whatever way you think you need us, will be very, very happy to support you. The opportunities are just huge for technology. There is just big room to localize your manufacturing, to create your solutions, to address any problems. We have a lot of problems, and when I say problems, I mean problems for the technology people, not real life problems. So a lot of problems that we have that requires technology, and we would love to help you address those problems. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Faisal, for highlighting the investment opportunities in Saudi Arabia. At the moment, we'll have a Ministry of Communication and Information Technology overview with Ms. Nada Al-Husseini, the Technology Investment Program Manager, and the Mr. Abdulaziz Al-Mdairi, the Director of Communication at Infrastructure Deputyship. Mrs. Nada, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Omar. I will start first, and then we will move to the part of my colleague Nada. First, thanks for the Ministry of Investment for giving us this chance to go overview of the ICT sector in KSA. After answering the major question, or the general question, why to invest in Saudi, my colleague Faisal answered briefly why to invest in ICT sector. My colleague Nada and myself will go deeper to the ICT sector. and we'll deep dive to some figures and some highlights that show the opportunities and the strong position of the ICT sector in KSA. KSA government gave the ICT sector a strong focus since the launch of Vision 2030. This led that recently we have been awarded the GSMA's Government Leadership Award in 2020 as part of the MWC in Barcelona. That was a result of great public-private partnership and investment in the sector in general. In work competitiveness, we ranked 24th globally in 2020. And in digital infrastructure, we ranked the 27th recently in e-government development index. We jumped 40 positions this year. We are the 80th G20 country in digital infrastructure. This huge jump was a result of deep focus in digital infrastructure. We are the second G20 country in spectrum release with more than 1,100 megahertz available for telecom operators. We are the 10th globally in mobile internet speed as per speed test methodology. Just to understand the huge jump, we ranked 104 in 2017. So around 100 positions jump. It's a huge jump, of course. 5G from the beginning of the technology was a consideration with the deep focus in KSA. We are the 4th globally in 5G coverage. Furthermore, we are 30th in digital skills worldwide, according to the World Economic Forum. Next slide, please. Now we'll go through some ICT market figures to understand the market size, the spending size, and how government is giving focus to ICT. The huge market size is $28.7 billion. Government, KSA government just spent $4 billion in digital infrastructure, as I mentioned, with huge collaboration and partnership with private sector. That led to doubles of this number of investment from the private sector. And we saw the result in the first slide. Going for some more some specific segments of the market, the e-commerce market size is $7.6 billion. The cloud market just grown by 22% in last year. IT market spending reached beyond 12 billion, and IoT spending passed 1.3 billion last year. During COVID-19, the huge investments in digital infrastructure paid off. The ICT sector was the enabler of business continuity in Saudi Arabia, and hugely in the continuity of G20 presidency works. It was proven by the extraordinary virtual leaders summit that was chaired by the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz. Furthermore, tens of virtual meetings for multiple task force held on within the previous months, and that kept the work on track in G20 presidency. Furthermore, the sector was an enabler to health sector, educational sector, in accommodating and adapting the demand and the urgency of the situation of COVID-19. We provided free access to the health and digital platforms, and we supported the continuity and the situation with those partners. Furthermore, the lockdown and the transfer to working remotely, increase the traffic, the data traffic 30%. That raised a huge demand and a need for more spectrum to be allocated. Our colleagues at CITC directly responded and allocated more spectrum to the telecom operators. And alhamdulillah, we passed the whole lockdown and working remotely period with the strong reliability in digital infrastructure. Next, please. Now I will move to the digitization structure of Saudi Arabia, and we'll understand the ICT role in that digitization. As we see in the structure, ICT sector is the foundation of the digitization structure. Major elements are being the focus of the ICT sector: policy regulation, infrastructure, funding, investments, human capital, and innovation. Those are the main elements that are of focus of the ICT sector. ICT sector focuses in 3 markets: telecom, IT, and emerging tech. Those will be covered by my colleague Nada later on in details. ICT sector in partnership with e-government, national data, and cybersecurity are main enablers for the sectorial digital transformation and digital culture. The major sectorials that are targeted by the digitalization structure in Saudi Arabia are commerce, education, health, industry 4.0, smart city, and other sectors. Now I'm leaving the floor to my colleague Nada to deep dive in the ICT sector and what we have achieved so far. So Nada, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Abdulaziz. If you allow me, I would like first to thank the Ministry of Investment of our strategic partner for hosting such an event and inviting us to it. Going back to the strategy, the ICT strategy, we can move to the next slide, please. Yeah. The strategy serves several key technologies, starting with IT and telecom. The IT consists of traditional IT, which is the hardware, software, and IT services, and emerging technology. And from there, we can go to, could you go to the next slide, please? During the ICT strategy development phase, and specifically after having an overview of the current ICT sector's performance, 3 strategic themes emerge from the sector baseline, both in telecom and IT. Those are the improving the effectiveness of the telecom market, increasing the local content, and growing the IT emerging tech market. These themes detailed into 13 strategic priorities, which are fully aligned with the Vision 2030 objectives and linked to 8 programs to directly achieve the vision. When it comes to improve the effectiveness of telecom market, improve the competition in retail and wholesale market, ensuring the readiness of the telecom infrastructure are our top priorities. And when it comes to increasing the local content and grow the IT market size, attracting multiple cooperation and priority areas of emerging tech to localize their presence in Saudi Arabia is the priority that comes through enhancing the ease of doing business in the ICT sector, and also enabling investor-friendly environment through ensuring the existence of regulations and policies. And as a result, that will help in turning KSA into a regional hub for top tech MNCs, which lead to increasing ICT added value and also its contribution to the GDP. Furthermore, the strategy focuses on improving the technical skills for relevant local workforce through training, and also increasing women participation in the ICT sector by 50%. Recently, His Excellency, Engineer Abdullah Suah, launched the Women Empowerment Program, which focuses on multi-tracks, for example, awareness training, entrepreneurship, and C-level women in the sector. Also, the strategy aims to enhance the technical and digital knowledge through increasing digital awareness, drive technical innovation through the promoting of R&D in the kingdom's startup ecosystem, also enabling the development of mega projects such as Al Qiddiya and NEOM, as well as to support in coordination and synergy between the relevant ICT entities in the public and private sector. In conclusion, this strategy is expected to contribute in increasing the IT and emerging market size by like 50%. Also increase the ICT sector contribution to the GDP by 50 billion over the coming 5 years, inshallah. Next, please. Yeah. Taking into consideration these 13 priorities, MCIT has worked effectively and efficiently to achieve a lot of remarkable accomplishments. Here are like a sample of them. First, when it comes to digital talent, building local skills is among the top priorities, as the sector at the present time is currently suffering from a shortage of specialists in the ICT workforce. Several development programs have been launched in partnership with global IT companies to train Saudi youth on key ICT skills. As a result of that, 23K national talents have been trained on digital skills with concentration on Industry 4.0 skills. Also, the Saudi Digital Academy has been established back in 2019. SDA focuses on job roles development for skills and competences associated with digital upskilling. The Academy offers 5 main tracks: web application and development, game development, cloud computing, data analytics, and executive training. When it comes to digital infrastructure, 513K wireless broadband household in villages. However, 90% already of populated area are covered by basic telecom services, voice and data. Also, 8K 5G sites have been installed. When it comes to internet speed, we have reached 66.54 megabytes per second. Moreover, we have reached 3.5 million FTTH household kingdom-wide. Next, please. Yeah. When it comes to technology, mega achievements have taken place. For instance, the recent inauguration of Oracle First Cloud Data Center in the Kingdom, which is the first of its kind in the Middle East and Africa. The center will support the fourth industrial revolution ecosystem in Saudi Arabia, and it also has a strong contribution to making Saudi the vocal point and center for data exchange. Also, back on March of this year, the National Technology Development Program has been launched. This program aims to drive tech adoption, stimulate tech local content, and foster tech export by deploying financial and non-financial levers in close collaboration with the relevant stakeholders in the ICT ecosystem. The program seeks to align effort with the concerned authorities to enhance the integration of the value chain system in the ICT sector and stimulate its effectiveness and growth, starting with R&D through localization and attracting investment, and ending up with the development of demand for technology adoption. Next, please. Finally, KSA today provides a very attractive incentives for tech players to set up and to have their business here in Saudi Arabia. We'll start with the business development. We have an open government platform which helps in publishing e-government procurement projects, which helps in fair competition. Also, we have a matchmaking events for all partners to meet our local startups through like a global event under the umbrella of Invest Saudi. When it comes to setting up business setting up, we have 100% foreign ownership. Foreign investors from selected area can have 100% ownership for their onshore entities. Also, we offer support for investors to get their fast-track visas to come and handle their businesses here in Saudi during their setup phase. When it comes to talent, as we mentioned earlier, through the training programs that has been offered lately, and when it comes to funding, a fully dedicated budget allocated for employment subsidies for up to 30% of Saudi national salaries, with, of course, a maximum restrictions. When it comes to ICT regulations and policies, many regulations has taken place. For instance, the cloud adoption policy and framework, IoT regulatory framework, and the electronic transaction law. And finally, when it comes to infrastructure, the existence of innovative centers, excellence centers, and also research centers here in Saudi Arabia have helped in the infrastructure area. Also, a standardized government tech architecture represented by Yasser National Enterprise, which provides a standardized framework for all government digital platforms. This is a very fast overview of the ICT sector and what have been done there and what is offered also is there. Mohammed or Umar, the floor is all yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdulaziz and Mr. Ms. Nada. It's great to have an overview about MCIT. Ladies and gents, I know we've exceeded, we're going to exceed 1 hour. We apologize for that. And now we'll have the National Data and AI Strategy from Sadaya with Dr. Hashim Al-Aid. Dr. Hashim, please, the mic is yours.
Thanks, Omar. Hi, everyone. Today, a quick overview on the data and AI strategies called Sadaya. So I'll try to be quick here. Why data and AI? As you all know, we have set in the kingdom an ambitious vision, which is Vision 2030, which is about reinforcing our role as a global leader and projecting ourselves into the future. This vision is articulated through 96 strategic goals. These 96 strategic goals, 66 were related or correlated with data and AI. Fulfilling these objectives will ensure that the kingdom will become a leading economy by maximizing the value extracted from data and AI. Next, please. To realize this ambitious plan, a new entity was needed. This entity is data, and it's playing a fundamental role for the future of our country by performing 3 critical functions. First, creating a world-class governance body to drive the data and AI agenda. Secondly, leading data and AI innovation at a global level by advancing knowledge and research. And finally, transforming these innovations into tangible results with a real impact in KSA economy. Next, please. So Sadaya was created with a clear vision to establish the kingdom as a global leader among the elite league of data-driven economies. To achieve this vision, Sadaya will perform 4 main mandates. It will set the national data and AI agenda for the kingdom, and then it will oversee the execution of the agenda by its child entities. Also, it will orchestrate the efforts of implementing the agenda across different sectors. And in parallel to all of that, it will be communicating the kingdom's progress and achievements in data and AI nationally and globally. Next, please. So to derive this mandate, or to drive and deliver this mandate, Sadaya was empowered with 3 executional arms: a regulator, an operator, and an innovator. The regulator is being the National Data Management Office, NDMO. The operator is being the National Information Center, NIC. And the innovator is being the National Center for Artificial Intelligence, NSI. Next, please. NDMO is responsible for setting the standards and regulations for data and AI and enabling their compliance by driving adoption of government-wide data management standards, elevating data management skills and ensuring national data management excellence, enforcing data-driven decision-making at the government level, and improving the overall data process to enhance the citizens' experience. Next, please. NIC, on the other hand, is responsible for operating the national data assets and infrastructure, including operating the government cloud services by virtualizing physical network infrastructure and providing services for government entities. Also, it will guard the whole of government data by migrating and managing all government entities' databases into a secure national data bank. And it will provide insights and data analytics by utilizing the national data bank to support decision-making of Saudi entities. And finally, it will operate the national platforms by providing technical and business infrastructure for these platforms. Next, please. INSAI is responsible for driving innovation and capability building in the space of AI, including detailing the national AI strategy and implementing it across Saudi Arabia, advancing AI knowledge by supporting research and innovation, generating AI applications by setting partnership and incubators, and developing human capital through AI education and building enabled workforce. Next, please. Since its creation in 2019, SDAIA and its entities achieved many accomplishments. Unfortunately, we will not be able to put all of them here in one slide, but we will try to focus on some of these achievements. For example, the National Data Bank, we were able to migrate over 100 data sets for government entities. For the G Cloud, we also migrated on over 100 data centers that helped the government to save what was a cost of 1 billion Saudi riyal. Also, we executed over 40 scenarios in our Insights platform, which we call Istishraf platform, that help the key decision makers in identifying saving opportunities over 45 billion riyals. We also developed like 5 different data policies that will help the government entities and also the investors into knowing their rights and what's in it for data and the regulations. All these efforts from SDAIA and its entities and those capabilities helped us to react quickly during the COVID-19 pandemic by launching the Tawakkalna app, which was focused on issuing permits during the curfew. Also, the Tabaud app, which is responsible for detecting contacts for COVID virus holders, and it was the 3rd of its kind worldwide. Also, we launched our secure video conferencing system, Group, to help the government entities and also the G20 that is hosted by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to help hold its meeting. And we have over 200, until now we have over 200 meetings and still going. With all of that, we also have been working hard to develop the National Data and AI Strategy, which will set the North Star for SDAIA and for the Kingdom on the priority areas to focus on with regards to data and AI, with a rich roadmap of initiatives and significant investments. Unfortunately, we will not be able to give more details on the National Data and AI Strategy. It was just approved by a royal decree, thankfully. And the details of the strategy will be announced very soon by SDAIA to the public, inshallah, with all the details that we have. Thank you, everyone, and I hope it was informative.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hashim, for giving us this overview about SDAIA. All right, ladies and gents, we have a Q&A session at the moment. We have received a bit of several questions. I believe the first question is to MCIT. The question is, you have mentioned the ICT sector's role during COVID-19 pandemic, but are investments opportunities in the sector during this critical time to the economy? I think the question is that there's any investments opportunities in the sector during this critical time to the economy.
Okay, nice question. Thanks, Omar. Thanks for who asked this question. I can summarize the situation during COVID-19 for the ICT sector in three simple elements: reliability, awareness, and then demand. The infrastructure showed or proved huge reliability, enabled the business continuity in all aspects, in health, education, banking, stock market, even governmental bonds. This is huge proven toward the reliability of digital infrastructure. Then we move to the awareness. We also have seen that the majority of businesses, or I would say all the businesses in Saudi Arabia, moved toward the digital transformation and working remotely. That shortened the time needed for public awareness and educating people what can be the role and how ICT could enable their businesses. This, of course, created a huge demand, a huge opportunities. I believe my colleague Nada could give us more details on the figures and the opportunities that created, but I'm seeing the picture in this way. So Nada, if you want to add anything.
Sure, Abdulaziz. Given the fact that a strong and reliable infrastructure the ICT sector has, and taking also in consideration the systematic shift in consumer behavior in what will be the new reality during COVID and after also COVID-19. As a result, an investment opportunities are seen in notably active areas that has increased in adoption amid COVID-19. For instance, e-commerce, as mentioned by Shahad earlier, e-learning, digital health. I throw some examples that are rich opportunities during and post the pandemic. Omar?
Thank you very much for your brief answer. The next question, I believe it's for Sadaya, to Dr. Hashim. The question says, it's great to see KSA taking bold steps to drive the national data and AI agenda. What does this mean to investors? And why should investors invest in data and AI in the kingdom?
That is a great question. Thank you, Omar. Whether it's the establishment of Sadaya or the development of the national data and AI strategy, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has taken bold steps to demonstrate strongest commitment to establishing a data and AI-led economy. As you all know, the Kingdom is going through massive transformation, with many sectors being rebuilt and giga projects and new cities being built. And the data and AI is the center of this transformation momentum, with the full buy-in from our country's leadership to embrace the latest technologies. Also, data and AI market is growing in an increasing rate globally in the region and also in the region. From our studies, we found out that over 50% annual growth rate in the region in the field of data and AI. Kingdom of Saudi Arabia will be making up 20% of MENA's data and AI market by almost to 2023. As for the national data and AI strategy, it is targeting significant investments across priority sectors to build and attract skills, drive R&D and innovations, and develop a strong ecosystem. This is a great opportunities for investors and technology developers to join us in the kingdom in this ambitious journey. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. And we have the last question. What have changed? I believe this question is for Nisa. What have changed when SAGIA transformed into MISA, Ministry of Investment?
So the change, for those who are not aware, the change happened 3 months ago, in Feb actually. We became the Ministry of Investments in Saudi Arabia, MISA, building on the existing SAGIA, Saudi Arabian General Investment Authority. Of course, we are working on defining our mandate and guidelines for how to move forward. And since the decision, we entered the COVID lockdown, and we've been acting heavily, as my colleagues earlier said, to solve all the problems for investors. Our priority in the last 3 months was to guarantee no obstacles or problems will be faced by investors. We tried our best to work with all governmental entities. We had a team that is in contact 24/7 with you name it, governmental entities. The COVID showed actually a great spirit, a great one team, a great collaborative tool. Everyone was so excited to help. We had one team that worked on everything in a timely manner. So it's very early to answer your question on what are we gonna do in the future, but definitely the change to a ministry will enlarge our mandate. It shows the government a huge focus on enabling investments. We want everyone to have more reason to put their money and more lucrative investment and more impactful investment. So definitely a lot of change will happen. It will be announced at the right time. We know the high level changes. It seems to be more focusing on helping investors make the right decisions in a timely manner, helping them with analysis, data, building the case, and so on. Of course, we cannot work without others. We have three actually, or more very important entities, and I would like to highlight the role of SADAYA. The creation of SADAYA is not just addressing a problem, is unlocking a sector. Every technology investment 5 years ago onward will rely on data. The transformation we're living, the digital transformation, the industry 4.0 transformation, all new emerging tech is around data. Data is the new oil. Data is important. That's why Dr. Hisham Tankri gave us a brief on how the government is focusing on that. They are regulators, they are enablers, you name it. So that will be a crucial part moving forward for investors of all kinds, because everything goes around and comes around in data. So definitely you will see more of us down the road as MISA. You will see faster movement as MISA. You will see more focus on incentives from us as MISA. We want to give you the right tools and solutions, whether that's financial or non-financial, to help you have a speedy entry to the market, a successful one. So stay tuned for our new strategy. Reach out if you have any question. Thank you, Omar, for for moderating the call, and thank you all those who work behind the scene, our great marketing and stakeholders management team. Thanks to our participants here from NCIT, and also Dr. Hisham, thank you for your valuable time presenting what SADAYA does. We'll be very happy to connect with investors down the road once the strategy is approved. We've seen the high level, and it seems like we're just starting. So it's an amazing step moving forward, and we're looking forward to collaborating with you in creating great opportunities for our investors.
Thank you very much, Faisal. Here is the contact list to contact Invest Saudi. And ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate your time. Although we know that we have exceeded your valuable time within 15 minutes, but we really appreciate for joining, and we hope that you get a useful information. And we look forward to see you very soon in Saudi once the pandemic is over. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.